What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rear Naked Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie Kilstein.
And I'm the other host, Drew Weatherhead, and we've got a hell of a guest today.
I want to punch someone in the face and start a business and have a daughter. I want to punch someone in the face,
What
have a
business
daughter.
can we start that involves having daughters and punching faces?
I mean, unfortunately, it's kidnapping. It's human trafficking. I'm not saying I'm for that, but if you're looking for what involves punching faces, it's human trafficking. So that's not the message we want you to get.
That was an unfortunate conglomeration of two great loves and pastimes.
This is not where we wanted to go. Drew and I have already had to re-record this intro because I said a bunch of shit that legally I probably shouldn't. And this is what I came up with. Tom DeBlass is this fucking combination of... Like, you watch his Instagram, and it's, like, kind and empathetic. But also, if you were like, who would you want... If you had to avenge your slain family, who would you want to go with you? You're like, Tom DeBlass. Like, he somehow looked like he was going to cry when he was talking about his daughters in this interview. And way too casually mentioned that someone pulled a machete on him.
Just like, this stuff kind of happens like it happens to everybody, right?
Dude, he really cruised by that, and I was like, I can't. And I had so many things I wanted to ask him about, like mindset and stuff like that I couldn't be like, cool. Can we back up to the machete story? Because I feel like that would have been the whole episode.
Yeah.
Because what gets you to that point?
I had a lot of mind images, like what was going on before the machete got pulled.
Dude, I just pictured one of those like old Steven Seagal movies where it was like people walk around with those kind of weapons where like it would just be like a Jamaican weed dealer somehow had like this like gigantic sword he pulls from his sheath.
How uncomfortable would it be to walk around in a first world country where you're not allowed to walk around with a machete just hanging off your hip? Because it would have to be either all the way down your leg or down your back.
That's such a good question.
You'd be walking like Forrest Gump before he lost his braces.
That is such a great old person question where I'm like, yeah, I never thought about that. Where it's like, oh, that's got to be, it's a lot of uncomfortable, but for the payoff of getting to pull a machete on somebody. Can we also talk about, and I didn't want to say...
Hey, just a sec, maybe he pulled it just because he was getting uncomfortable.
Oh, that's interesting. And maybe it was just a misunderstanding where he's like, you know what, I'm fucking done with that. He pulls it out and Tom's just like, well, here we go. And this is going to sound insulting, and it's not, because again, this is our favorite interview. I don't want to be on Tom's wrong side. And this has nothing to do with physical appearance. However, he is such a hardened man who has seen so much and is also posting like with his dog, like his face just like he's been in fucking fights. That when he was like, man, I still got goals. I mean, I'm 38. I'm like, you're how old?
I know.
You're my age? Like,
all of a sudden you're like, I should have a goal too, right?
Dude, I didn't think he was like 70, but it's like that Big Nog thing where like Big Nog went through so many fights that you're like, oh man, this guy's like this like hardened 50-year-old. And then they were like, at the ripe age of 17, Noguera. And you're like, what? How fucking old? And it's just like the shit he has seen. Like, I'm asking him questions like he's my fucking dad because he's so wise and seen so much. And then I'm just like, I turned 38 in May. This is fucking terrible. Like, I definitely, if you watch my face, there must be some like when he just casually said he was 38, and he said it twice, and I remember, and I'll never forget. It definitely affected me, and I don't know how I feel about it yet.
You're gonna have to change your mindset. Re-listen to this.
Yeah, man. So the interview. It's heavy. But not in a bad way. It really...
It's just real, you know?
Yeah, and Drew got personal for the first fucking... That when you were like, I have a question about my daughter, I was like, oh, shit. Like...
You know what? It just sort of came up because it's recent. You know, it's been happening in the last week. And Tom just seems like exactly the person that I would want. It's like my only chance to just get him in person and ask him before it's like over.
No, it was perfect. And, you know, Drew and I were talking about before we went to air that what's been really cool about this show, and this was my goal with the show, and I think it was your goal too, is, so Drew and I are both comedy people, right? But that's not what we wanted the show to be. I have painfully seen people in like the sports world or whatever like try to be funny because they're like, this is what comedy is. And it's just that guy has your back, it looks like you're fucking him because you're a homosexual, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And you know, we didn't want to be a show that like tried to be funny. I think we are funny, but what's fucking great, and this is low-key what I wanted, was the emails I'm getting, the DMs I'm getting on Instagram, not the ones about human trafficking.
Those are in a separate folder.
Yeah, they're a separate folder. They're like, they're on to you, run. They're all in caps, very frantic. The emails we're getting are the ones that are like, you're helping change my mindset, or you're pushing me through a hard time in jiu-jitsu, or a fucking hard time in my life.
Yeah.
And that is exciting me. That's what I want this show to be. So like, because I've been thinking about it a lot recently. So this Tom interview, like, it's fun to be like, yeah, we interviewed Jeff Glover while he's getting high at Magic Mountain. But like, this is the shit that really motivates me to make the show fucking great and to make the show huge, because I think that I can't see anybody listening to this interview and not making some sort of minor tweak in their life for the better is what I hope.
I think this is the most excited I've been to re-listen to it. I haven't heard it back yet, but I'm going to get on that like before it even goes live.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're keeping this part in, but Tom said he doesn't do a lot of podcasts, which is cool. So I watch his Instagram so much that I've never done an interview where I felt like I was talking to an Instagram story.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
Where I'm like, my Instagram story's talking back to me. This is,
dude. I hung out with him for a couple of days when he came up here to. He was commentating some super fights up in Edmonton.
Oh, cool.
Coincidentally, I was one of the super fights. So he ended up cornering me in my match because my coach couldn't make it.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, it was a wild story. We can go on that another time. But
by the way, that is such a fucking cool move. That happened to me. Mm-hmm. Robert Drysdale cornered me when Marcelo couldn't. And he was at the mat next to me, and he's like, "Oh, you need someone?" And I was like, and then he gave me a piece of advice at the end that I will legitimately never forget in life. I will never forget. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but so like when I picked him up from the airport to take him to the show, and I was kind of his what's the guy who drives people around, chauffeur. I was kind of his chauffeur. Yeah, I was his unpaid work for the weekend. But I mean, I got to talk to him a lot. And like the moment he pops into the car, I start an Instagram live stream, and he's just right in character, man. Like nothing changes. Like it's him. And then the thing pops off, and he just talks like, yeah, you're exactly what I would expect from all of your stories.
Yeah, man. And actually we talk about that. We talk about authenticity in the interview, which was really cool. It definitely it motivated me to, I'm on the right path, right? Like it showed me, like I had a moment with Drew the other day where I go, hey man, just so you know, I have this incredibly strong vision of us at a huge jiu-jitsu show at like a cool fucking city, like with like big lights, like legit production, and us being the commentary team.
Yeah, when you sent that text, it was super weird.
Continue. And it was also at like 7 a.m. I feel like I sent it. So wait, what was your reaction when you say super weird? Are you just like in like a
it was just out of nowhere. I thought that you were like having a prophecy and like speaking in tongues. I'm like, what is this?
But you actually had a really funny response, which I get so low key mad at you whenever I like write something really deep about like we're gonna be like at the bright lights, and you're like a moth, and I'm like, Drew, just say yes.
I can make fun of this sentence somehow.
yeah. But you said something really funny where you were like, are you having a prophecy? Are you a god? Does that mean the show can be tax exempt? Like, but the fact that you went to tax exempt is that's why I'm like, oh, that's why we're fucking friends. As pissed off as I was, but then it happened the next day.
Yeah,
that's
weird. The weird story became real.
I saw an opportunity for it to happen. with a friend of ours. It didn't totally come from out of nowhere. And got on the phone with him, and I've never talked to him, like an Instagram friend of ours. And I'm going to save, by the way, I'm not hyping the shit out of it. I'm going to wait till our flights are booked. But if this happens, I will say that not only is it that, but it's fucking cooler than that. Like, I saw a video trailer of the tournament, and it has some of my favorite fighters. It has some of my favorite people. The setup is huge. The audience will be huge. And for Drew and I to make our debut as a live commentary team at this event in this fucking city, which is one of the only cities in America I haven't been to, and it's fucking perfect. It's fucking perfect. And it just happened because not because I magically made it happen, but because I believed in it enough to go hard to get it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that this is exactly what you're going to get from this interview with Tom when you listen to it. So let's get to it.
Fuck yeah. But first, guys, really quick, there are two types of people in this world you can be. You can be the Tom DeBlasses of the world, right? You can not take shit. You can defend your family. You can make something out of yourself. You can take the obstacles that have been put in your way, whether it be by circumstance, by God, by the universe, by whatever you believe in. Or you could be a piece of shit basement troll who is constantly on more successful people's Instagram and Twitter and trying to get people in trouble and cancel culture and narcs and stuff like that.
I've never thought of it before now, but those are literally the only two type of people you can be.
It's Tom DeBlasses or pieces of shit. Little pieces of shit who, instead of making something with their life because they don't have the skills to do it, will trash other people. Now, the question is, Jamie and Drew, how do I know which one I am? Well, do you shop at SUPERARE? Do you go to superrareshop.com or their staple stores in New York and LA?
That's a telltale sign right there.
Yeah. Or do you go to JCPenney's like a fucking troll? Right? JCPenney's, is that how you say it? If you go to SUPERARE, something happens. When I put on my Muhammad Ali shirt, my Bruce Lee shirt, my fucking jiu-jitsu versus everybody, which, by the way, literally, I have two of them, and I think they meant for me to, like, give one away.
Not gonna happen.
I didn't. It means that I have 2 days now that I can wear my jiu-jitsu versus everybody. Guys, I can't stress this enough. I went on with a political TV show with millions of followers, and I have my fucking Muhammad Ali shirt on. When I wear these, I feel like I can accomplish stuff. I feel like I can manifest stuff, like we just talked about with the commentary gig. And when I'm not wearing my SUPERARE gigs or shirt, I'm like, well, I guess I'm a fucking piece of shit and should like tweet to Chris D'Elia, not funny, and then just want to kill myself.
Yeah, that's probably what everybody feels who doesn't too. So if you want to get those bad feels out and want to get the good feels in, the only way to go about it is go to superrareshop.com and put the promo code after you pick your awesome gear that you're going to get from them in your cart.
Yeah, you can also get boxing gloves, like legit fight gear, but like their fashion is what's like legitimately the fucking coolest to me.
Super sick. And then you're going to drop the code rear naked in the checkout, and you're going to get 15% off. So, I mean, why not be cool for cheap?
Yep, and you're supporting the show, and you will be on your way to being a little Tom DeBlass. Go be a Tom DeBlass. Don't be a commenter. Be a commenter. Be Tom DeBlass. God damn it. God damn it.
All right, let's go hear Tom DeBlass talk.
All right, cool. There it is. Fuck
Baby.
yeah. Hey, pal.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for doing this.
Oh, no problem, man. I gotta tell you, bro. I don't even fucking do them anymore. It's just because it seems like everybody nowadays has a podcast, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, dude, I can't do podcasts every week. You know?
No, And it's hard too, because like one of the reasons we wanted to start this was there are certain things that we really care about, like which you're kind of like the perfect guest for, right? Like mindset and getting people through like tough times. And we talk about like mental illness on the show and shit like that. I don't want to be another jiu-jitsu podcast that's just talking about like the tournament coming up that week. Like that's the kind of shit I don't care about. Like, Drew, I didn't tell you this. I was DMing with John Kavanaugh, Connor's coach, about doing the show. And I was like, I promise we will be the only show that doesn't ask you, so who do you want Connor to fight next? Like, I just don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, thanks for doing this, man.
No, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet.
I want to open up, not talking about jiu-jitsu. I want to open up about, this is why I love your Instagram, is you are somehow so motivational and then so Jersey at the same time. All right, here we go. I'm going to read this quote. It's a video, a loving video of a father and his daughter. So I did not see the last line coming. I love this video. Being a dad is the best thing ever, and letting your child win at times is key for confidence development. Great, great, great. And to all the dads that are saying, my kid's got to earn everything. Uh-oh, here comes the Jersey. One day, your daughter is going to be banging some dude as she chants, I hate my piece of shit dad.
Well, here's the thing, bro.
It's just masterful. It's so well done.
I posted a video on Facebook, and people came on, and they're like, oh, you know, you got to make your kids work for everything they get. It's like, shit, come on, man. Like, give me a break. Like, I understand you do have to make your kids work for everything, but I mean, also allowing them to win in simple games like that is developing their confidence. So it's like, how many poor relationships are there with, you know, parents and children, especially fathers, you know, and children, fathers and daughters that, you know, they don't really ever truly get to know their daughter. And it's like, man, like, you want to be a tough guy, you want to like rule with an iron fist. All right, bro. Like, then when she's sneaking out of the window in the middle of the night, you know, hopping in some dude's car, like, come on, this is factual. This is the shit that's gonna happen. You know?
Oh, dude, I have dad issues to the point where I've almost banged guys chanting, I hate my piece of shit. I get it. What do you think? And we can tie it into jiu-jitsu, but I actually love talking about parenting. What is that? You know, to me, when I see guys jumping on Facebook and they're projecting and they're yelling about like a sweet dad-daughter video, it's like, okay, you're projecting. There's some shit you're doing where either you don't like the way you were raised, you're trying to be too tough of a guy. You're a tough fucking guy. What is that sort of middle line, whether you're coaching jiu-jitsu, whether you're raising your kids, between that toughness, but also, like you said, giving them wins? Because I mean, even for me, dude, when I train with coaches who are always telling me what I'm doing wrong, I'm a 37-year-old man, and I hate that. I need someone being like, that was fucking dope. Here's how you make it better.
Yeah. You know, really, basically, life is very much a game, man. And people don't understand this. You know, how you speak to people. You know, people think about, when you hear the word manipulation, you think that's, you know, negative. But if you can't manipulate things to work in your favor, you're in trouble, man. And truly, manipulation is key. It really is. And manipulating your students that aren't doing so well to believe that they're doing better than they are. You know, manipulating your children sometimes to think they're winning when not necessarily they may not be. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're lying to them. It doesn't mean you're manipulating them to do something terrible.
Right.
It just means you're manipulating them to feel good about themselves. And that's important. And that's, you know, life is tough enough, man, you know, and for sure my kids are going to be faced with some challenges that, you know, I'm not going to be there, and they will be ready, you know, they will be ready. And I in order to get them ready, they have to have the confidence. They have to believe that they can. You know, if they're just constantly losing and being yelled at and told this isn't good, well, how are they ever going to believe that they're capable?
Right.
This is perfect timing, actually, because I've got a situation right now that I could take your input on. I've got two young daughters who are both in jiu-jitsu. I'm teaching them jiu-jitsu. I've been for about a couple of years now. They've been in it. I run a tournament here in town that's submission only. that's coming up next month in a few weeks. And my youngest of the two daughters, she's 6. She's been training since she was 4. She is sweet and mild and loves coming to jiu-jitsu, but has never hit a submission in her whole life. And she's going in. She told me like last week that she wants to go into this tournament because it's daddy's tournament and she wants to win a medal. And she's literally never hit a submission in her life and she wants to go into a sub-only tournament. So I'm saying, okay, I talked to her mom. It's like, she's not going to win. Like, there's no possible way she can win.
What if she heel hooks everybody and just fucking blows out all these little girls' knees?
But yeah, I guess we're going to try to take it as a learning experience. Like, how would you play that? Because I don't want to say no.
I'm not saying my way is right or my way is wrong, but I wouldn't let her do it yet. I'm a firm believer in preparation. You know, like we have to be battle ready. I don't like doing anything ill-prepared. And sometimes what I see happen is when students want to compete very soon, they're very eager to compete, and they're not prepared. And then it not only do they lose, but the nerves, the lights, the people screaming, that turns them off so much to where they hate jiu-jitsu. And they don't want to train jiu-jitsu anymore.
That's what I'm most worried about.
And it goes from something to where they think they love it to where I would just simply say to my daughter, like, listen, my love, I love that you want to do it. And I think that you could do okay. But just like you see daddy prepare before he goes into competition, and not just competition, just life in general, I want to prepare you a little bit more. You know, let's just train a little bit more. But if you made the decision to have her do it already, just cheer for everything she does, man. You know, like, it doesn't matter, win, lose, or draw. Just cheer for her and make sure she.
Oh, we lost your audio, Tom. You want to hit that again? Tom, I think you hit the mute button. You want to hit that? Oh, we lost audio.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we are. I got you. Ah, there's Tom.
There we go.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, sorry, I missed the last half of your thought. You want to go back a bit?
Yeah, so it's like maybe she will do well, and at the end of the day, just cheer everything she does and make it a positive thing, and it could be a lesson to where, you know, it's not always going to go our way, and it doesn't mean that we still shouldn't love jiu-jitsu. We have to love jiu-jitsu on its good days and its bad days. You know what I mean?
I love that. And this is kind of geared more towards competitors, but it also sort of talks about that positive mindset we were discussing in the beginning, where I'm a firm believer, and I haven't been my whole life. It's really one of the things that saved me in the last 5 years of just believing in myself, right? I've only hung out with comedians and political people where you kind of get more credit the more miserable you are, the more self-deprecating you are. And once I started doing jiu-jitsu full time and hanging out with athletes, it was the first time that I heard about positive self-talk, that I saw people being confident. You know, you walk into a comedy club with a Tony Robbins book, every comic's calling you gay and telling you to, like, get out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really the best community to talk about bettering oneself.
Yeah.
For me, I want to talk about toxic people in your life, because you've talked about that before and I love it. So I want to get back to that. But on the positive self-talk topic, what do you personally, what do you do, or what do you encourage people to do when they lose? Because there are some people, you watch a Connor, you watch someone like that, you know, just say, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. And it does work, right? There is something to that. But then how do you keep believing that when you do face adversity or when things start to crash down without being a lunatic narcissist?
I mean, I think you basically have to look at yourself like a machine, right? Like, if something goes wrong in your car, you correct it, you fix it, and then you ride away. You know,
but it's still a car.
Yeah, it's a car. You know, it's a machine. You have to be a machine. You can't think too much. People get lost in their own thoughts. If we make a mistake, we look at the mistake, we address the mistake, we attack the problem, we correct the problem, and then we keep going. You know, I mean, everybody comes up short sometimes. Everybody. There's no one man or one woman that has competed with 100% success rate. I mean, we have a few boxers, right? But I mean, in jiu-jitsu especially, MMA especially, like, it's going to happen. And I think you just got to understand that it makes for a better story at the end. You know, it sucks during it, but the end story is going to be much better. I mean, who doesn't love a Rocky story, right? Who doesn't love a comeback story? And I think you need to understand that everybody goes through it.
Oh my God.
Everybody goes through it.
Bro, I'm so glad you said that, because I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but when I was like living out of my car doing like coffee house stand-up gigs, I was happier than I was when I had money and like a job living in New York, because I kept telling myself, this is when like True Hollywood Story was like a big thing, and that like VH1 would profile those bands. And I kept saying, like, this is part of the story. And every time something shitty would happen, every time a car would break down, every time I'd bomb at a gig, I would picture telling this story in like a big interview, you know, a decade from now. And that shit really, it fucking works. It really got me through, and it pushed me to get past it. And I think what a lot of people do is they focus so much on the negative stuff, and they tweet about how bad things are and hard, because you get that temporary dopamine hit when people tweet you and go, no, you're great, you're going to be okay. And they get it. I've done this too. You get addicted to that attention from your life sucking, as opposed to being like, this is hard now, I have to just push and I have to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, life in general was never easy. So I'm kind of used to things like being really tough. For me, it's when things are too smooth, it feels weird, you know?
Yeah, I hate that feeling where you're like, this is too good. There's another shoe about to drop. I know it.
Yeah, life very much to me is a game. It's a movie, and I try to pull a puppet strings to make it work for me. Sometimes I'll even make a post, and I just see everybody come and start talking shit and commenting, and for me, it's comical. You know, it doesn't matter to me. I don't. Okay. People don't understand. Like, they think I get mad online. I don't. If I really got mad, people would know. Like, trust me, they would know. But I don't. Like, I'm pretty easygoing. I don't want problems. If I happen to compete and lose, it sucks. But it's just jiu-jitsu. You know, like,
this is something that I really wanted to talk to you about, because of all the people that I follow on social media, and you're a master at social media. For the time that you've been doing it, you've accumulated awesome followings, really like committed followers who want to hear what you have to say. But the part that I really look forward to is those little tiny troll shit posts that you put out there that I know that you're just trying to get people to come in, and they swarm, and it's so much fun. I'm like, oh good, this is like, you and Gordon are the best for this. You'll put something out, I'm like, oh good, here come the comments, and I just wait, and the cards start rolling in. I'm like, he's gonna respond to this. He did respond to this. Awesome. Tell me how
walk us through.
What is your process?
So it really depends on the day, like, because here's the thing. You know, people don't deal with consequence nowadays. Like, there's no consequence.
Yes.
Like, the way I grew up, man, like, if I talk shit, like, I would get my ass beat. Like, that's not even a question. Like, bro, like, I've had like machetes pulled on my throat. Like, I've been beaten. I've been concussed as from like a young boy. Like, I've gotten the worst of things. So nowadays people talk and there's no consequence because they're behind a keyboard. But it's like, the one time it was like a real big thing because somebody pirated my DVDs and they stole my DVDs. They took my DVDs, they downloaded them, they started selling them for $20 a piece on like eBay and shit like that.
Jesus.
And it's like, you're stealing from my kids. You're stealing from me. Why would you do that? That's really mean. That's not a nice thing to do. So I know a lot of people, you know, and people think they're safe behind their fake router or this and that. Okay, it took 2 hours and my guy got this guy's address, his phone number, his mom's address, everything. And then I posted it. And then a lot of people got mad at me that I posted. I'm like, why are you mad at me?
Right.
I'm posting the criminal. He's stealing from me, but you're mad at me for posting something? And it just made me realize, like, people just don't think in their right mind. And sometimes I won't even respond. I had another guy come on and post, you know, starts talking like a lot of shit. I posted a selfie. Oh, you're so vain, this and that. I went to his page. He had like 17 selfies with like no likes. Like no one liked it at all. But it was like they were the worst.
There's the projecting
ever. And I'm like, bro, you're doing the same shit that I'm doing, but not even, but nowhere near as good as I'm doing it. Why are you mad? You know, like, so. And then I'll put them on blast. Sometimes I'll post their shit. You know, and then when I put them on blast, and then everybody starts messaging them, talking shit, and then they're upset with me. But you attacked me first. I didn't go on your page and attack you. If you fucking attack me, depending on my mood, and some people like that I go back at them. You know,
I love it. I love it.
It's the best. You know?
I'm not gonna like find like, you know, there was one guy that really pissed me off because he talked shit about my daughter. Right, that motherfucker made a mistake.
Yeah,
and he still made a mistake. I have people trailing his ass. Every time he creates a new Instagram, we find it, and then he's got to delete it again. I know he's in San Diego. He's a Mexican guy, and I know a lot about him. But like, don't bring my kid's name into your mouth, man. You know, like, other than that, you want to talk about me, you want to talk shit. Like, it's fun. It's whatever. It's fun. You know, it's you know, I don't care.
I'm gonna say this now so I don't forget later, but after this podcast, I'm gonna create an Instagram account called Tom DeBlass and have all of your quotes where you're like in the comment section just murdering trolls.
It is. Some of the posts are pretty intense. Like, I forget that I said it, and then every once in a while, like a screenshot will pop up. Like, oh, Tom DeBlass is such a nice guy. Why does he talk to people like this? Well, motherfucker, why did you come to my page disrespecting me? So you think I'm going to do? Just take it? I'm going to talk shit back. You know,
I'm also going to say that Rear Naked Radio is legally not responsible for anything that happens to a Mexican in San Diego in the next week or two. This is actually like a really personal question for me, and hopefully people can relate to it. But how do you find that balance, man? Because I wrote an article a while that kind of went viral because like Rogan posted it and Sam Harris posted it. And it was about how I used to be very much more on the left than I kind of am now. And I would get off on, and I would get kind of carte blanche on Twitter by just calling people out. Now, it wasn't what you were doing. It wasn't really responding to people, but it was, you know, who are we trashing on Twitter today? I'm going to go trash them. Then I'm going to refresh it over and over again and look for likes and see if a famous person retweeted it. And for me, I was doing it back then because I was in a shitty relationship. I wasn't doing a ton of jiu-jitsu. I didn't have a lot of friends. And that was where I got my validation, my attention, right? And now I don't do it. I try to post more positive shit, blah, blah, blah. However, what I love about you is I also wrote an article that said, I think everyone needs to get punched in the face. And I think if everyone got punched in the face or trained jiu-jitsu or learned about consequences, we would be a lot nicer to each other. And there are times, man, where people will post stuff that are just legally false about me. And they'll post it on some celebrity's page or whatever. And I literally want to go all Tom DeBlass and be like, here's my fucking gym address. You can sign a release. Let's fucking fight. How do you manage, like, and maybe this is a silly question, but what is your mentality? How do you make sure you don't get so fucking into these Twitter fights or these Instagram fights, I should say, where you're angry and it's emotionally affecting you? And how do you kind of keep that cool where it's just kind of funny and you're keeping people in check?
Well, it's pretty simple. I like to win. And for me, I won't be beaten in the mental game, you know, ever. If these people really upset me, they win. You know, that's their biggest accomplishment.
Right.
Like, most likely, I remember the one guy was talking shit, and he everywhere I went, he was just talking. So I did some research on his page. I noticed he used to post with a woman. That woman was no longer in his pictures. Like, what happened, man? Like,
Oh,
you caught your wife sucking dick.
oh,
She left you. She left your kids.
oh
You're
no.
miserable, and he got super quiet. And that's literally what happened.
Right.
You know? Like, so a lot of these people are just sad and they just need attention. And, you know, but a lot of them just like to joke too. It's just a joke to them. But for me, it's like, I can't be affected. Like, I can only control what I can control. Like, I've yet to have someone walk up to me and slap me across my face, right? If that happens, I'll react. But until then, it's like, man, what are you doing? You're just, you know, you're looking for a reaction. You're giving me attention, you know. You're driving people to my page, you know.
Right.
And I really, you can't affect me. You can't phase me. Man, I've been through so much in my soon-to-be 38 years. I've been around a lot. I've seen a lot. People have no fucking clue. Yeah. They don't know my world. They have no idea. So it's like, you don't know what you don't know. And it's like, that's fine. You know, I just try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But I know if I get upset over the internet, they're winning.
Right.
I'm losing, you know.
Do you think that all the real life adversity, the non-Instagram troll adversity that you've been through in your life has actually made you a better person? Like, for people who are listening to the show who are struggling right now and I've rock bottomed, and, you know, do you think that if played the right way, it can actually make your life better and healthier, and it can affect you positively once you dig out of that hole?
Absolutely, man. You know, and it's like, for me, it's given me extreme compassion for people who struggle. I know I never took my anger out on anyone else ever, you know, but I understand, like, pain. I understand suffering, and I've been there. And, you know, there's different levels to this shit. Some people suffer just because they just have anxiety that they bring upon themselves. You know, my suffering has been pretty real, man, you know, with some, not saying it's more justified than anyone else's, but I've been through some shit that not a lot of people will make it through. I've seen it, and I've lived through it. And, you know, I've had friends murdered. I've had friends overdose on drugs. I've seen family members overdose. I've been, there's been things I've been through that my parents don't even know about when I was a kid, you know? And it is what it is. Like, it's molded me. It's hardened me in a way to where you can't phase me. But at the same time, I want to help other people know that they're going to be okay. You know, if I can make it, you can make it, for sure. And this life is not easy. You know, that's why I think I'm so soft with my kids, because I don't want them to feel any pain, you know, but unfortunately this life is pain. And, you know, it's not easy. It's never easy, man. And that's why I tell people, like, even to this day, you know, you get some fame, money, whatever, the problems don't stop. There's still issues that you have to wake up to every day. And we can only control what we can control. And people got to start controlling their thoughts. You know, force yourself to think more positive. Force yourself to focus on the positive. It's like jiu-jitsu. If you get tapped 5 times in one night, but maybe that one person you went with, they had a little bit more trouble passing your guard, instead of focusing on how many times you got submitted, focus on your guard recovery was a little better. You know, like, it comes, like, your happiness and your success directly is correlated to your thoughts. Mm-hmm. If I'm walking around feeling like I'm rich and no one can tell me different, am I really rich? You know, other people will tell me I'm crazy. I'm not. Listen, I might be rich anyway, but other people might tell me I'm crazy. But as long as I believe my own bullshit, I'm living in a good spot, and I'm happy. And happiness is success. You know.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's why your motivational posts, your inspirational memes really connect with so many people as they do, because there's something that, I don't know what it is, but there's something in the human mind that can really sense authenticity, and more so can sense a shyster, can sense somebody who's just doing it for, you know, personal gain, or you know, not real with what they're doing, you know. And I think, I don't know, for me, I can sense that there's a lot more authenticity behind the posts you post, especially once you get into the descriptions underneath, because you like to build a story behind why you posted it. So
it's true, man. Like I don't like anything fake, really. Like I remember this last ADCC, like some guys were talking shit back and forth online, but then they were standing in the same room together. Like for me, that'll never be me. Like and people are like, oh, well, you can't just do what you want. No, I can. I really can. I'll do whatever the fuck I want because I'm willing to face whatever consequence I have to face. I'm not scared. I don't fear anything besides, not being around my kids. That's it. So it's like I am very authentic, and there's a lot of people who are not very authentic. And you know what? Who am I to throw stones at them? If they're making money and they're doing what they need to do, good for them.
Hey, Jersey, I got some.
Oh, I was going to say, is this a Jersey thing? Because you two could tell me since you're both Jersey as fuck and I'm not. It just seems like there's bigger personalities that come out of that side of the world.
I don't vibe with a lot of Jersey people, man.
Oh, yeah?
Like I'm not.
Get out
like,
of here, Jamie.
Sorry. Bye, everybody.
I'm not like that, like Jersey Shore fist pumper like that. That's not me. I'm not that Guido type dude. Like I don't. I'm my own person. I mean, I really don't like the East Coast. I think they're a bunch of rude jerk-offs, a lot of people. Like you go to the West Coast or Canada, people are like very kind. East Coast, that rudeness, I don't like that shit. I try not to go out too much because I don't like to be like I don't like to be pushed and pissed off. Like yeah. I'd rather just be happy.
I will defend Jersey in the sense that I think that the cliche of Jersey are those Jersey Shore guys or whatever. I grew up in like Central Jersey. I started stand up in like New Brunswick, and
I was born in New Brunswick.
No way, yeah. Stress Factory was like my home club. I'm actually going to be there next weekend if everyone wants to come. And I think that for me, what I love about Jersey is I think the best of Jersey is the fucking best. I think there's a lot of that cliche shit you see, but like for me, there was always that kind of like chip on my shoulder where it's like I was close to New York, but I wasn't New York. And then when I got to LA, I noticed that everybody I actually liked, because there's a lot of fake niceness in LA too. Everybody I actually liked was from the East Coast. So they had the East Coast hustle and toughness and didn't put up with shit, but they were in LA and they would also like do yoga and like go to a vegan restaurant and like be a little more chilled the fuck out. I think it's finding that balance, right?
That's the thing. Like I do like the speed. Like I do like how shit gets done. Like
yes,
when I'm in other places and bro, it takes 30 minutes for the waiter to come up and greet you. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, why is this happening? I got shit to do, bro. But it's like, yeah, I feel you. I get you.
What I wanted just to go back to that mindset thing because I think what you were talking about being positive. It's so important. And, before the Conor Cowboy fight, I went down this like rabbit hole of Conor interviews. And there's one where he talks about when he was poor, every time him and his girl would go to like a restaurant or whatever, he would picture himself getting valeted in like his fancy car and essentially the life he had now, even though he was driving a piece of shit car and didn't have money to tip the valet guy and stuff like that. And I think that's incredible. What do you tell yourself though when things are like in the midst of we can all look back on our rock bottoms and be like, okay, I was positive, I got through it, I can see now how I learned from it. But when you're in the shit, is there something that you do to pull yourself out of it? Or do you just kind of have to experience it, wake up the next day and be like, fresh start?
I just believe, and ironically, I feel like I'm in that spot right now. I don't like staying in the same spot for too long. So before I opened my school, I was a school teacher. I would imagine an academy with hundreds of people. And then I did that. And then I have my academy with hundreds of people. I'm like, man, this isn't enough. I need something else. And then I started the instructionals, and they do really, really well for me. And then I'm like, man, there needs to be more. So now I got a bunch of affiliates. So I have the affiliates. I have like over 20. I have hundreds of students. The school is doing well. I have the instructionals, but I'm kind of like, man, I'm going to be 38. Like I feel stuck, this is not my end calling. There's more to this story. And there is, and I just know there is. And everything I said would happen for me, it happens, you know. I have much more to give than just jiu-jitsu, right? I believe for me, I'm going to be, you know, a household name that people look to for motivation in some senses. I'm not for everybody, but people who can relate can really relate, you know, and I am genuine and I really do give a fuck. I from the bottom of my heart, I care. And I found out how to become one of the best at what I do, right? When you look at from, you know, competition to running schools to running instructionals to having a strong social presence in jiu-jitsu, I think if you look across the board at that, there's not many people who can do all those things as well as I do it, right? You know, you have competitors that are better. Yeah, very few school owners that have more students, very few. You know, Gracie Baja has like hundreds and hundreds of affiliated schools. I just, you know, I started and I have like over 20, but it's like, it's just me. I'm not like, you know, it's just me building. So I believe what I do well, I do very well, but I have been feeling lately a little stuck. So what I do is I imagine the life, like very much like Connor said, just like I've always done. I imagine the life that I expect to have. And then I work really, really hard to do things necessary in order to obtain that life, right? I just don't picture it. I picture it and then I work for it. So I imagine it and then I work. Imagining isn't enough. Working isn't enough. You have to imagine and you have to work at the same time through your toughest days.
Are you setting little goals for yourself while you, and by the way, I'm really glad you said that, because I think a lot of people either are just like, if I visualize it, it'll come, or they're working really hard, but they're still accepting the life they have subconsciously, right? And I think what people don't understand is when you combine those, when you picture this amazing life and millions of dollars or whatever, you're just opening these opportunities for your brain to actually see, because you're not like, I'm a piece of shit. And then you start fucking working and hustling for the actual pragmatic working part. So you're visualizing, right? And then off of that, when you talk about doing the work, are you setting little goals for yourself? Are you setting monthly or yearly benchmarks? Or is this bigger vision so strong that you just go, that's what I want. Every day I'm hustling. Every day will be a little different, but we're working towards this end goal?
Yeah, I keep the end goal in mind. I don't really do small benchmarks where I think people should. Sure. I think it's important to have small benchmarks. I don't need them because no matter how I feel, I do what I have to do. And now I'm forced to live this life. There's no way out. I have kids, right? I have kids, so I have to live and I have to grind. I can't fucking jump off a bridge no matter how bad I feel. I have to get up and grind. I can't just exist no matter how bad I feel. I have to grind for my kids. It's not for me. It's for my kids. This is for my legacy. My legacy is my children. And I need to do things better for them. I'm not where I need to be yet, you know, and it doesn't mean I'm not thankful for all that I have, but I'm not where I need to be. You know, there's still people out there suffering for reasons that they shouldn't. If they just change their mindset, they would feel so much better. And I know I can help them. Sometimes I ask myself, should I be a little less violent at times, the way I talk, but that's who I am. That's right. Who I am, you know.
Right.
I don't want to take away my authenticity. Like, you know, I when you look at Tony Robbins, you look at Mark Muro, you know, they're not talking shit to people. But at the same time, they're who they are, and I am who I am. You know, and I'm not comparing myself to them or their level of fame or success, but why can't I have that, right? You know, no one thought that I would be where I would be now. No one thought that I'd have 150,000 Instagram followers, but I do. Mm-hmm. No one thought that I would be at ADCC as many times as I was, but I was, because I just believed and I worked hard. So no one really believes that you're going to do it until you do it. Mm. So for me, it's like I don't really know exactly what my end goal is. Just peace, just to be peaceful, just to be happy, to be set financially for my children, to be comfortable, and for me not to have to worry about anything. I just want peace in my life, you know? And I believe money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure makes things a lot easier.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I really vibe with what you're saying about your kids as a father myself. What do you think, if I were to ask you what your best case scenario is, what you want the most for your kids when they grow up? You're the one that's setting up them. All your work, you're saying, is for them. So what do you want all this work to be for with them? What would be your best case once they grow up that your payoff would be like, yeah, that was worth it?
I want them to understand struggle through me, you know, to where they necessarily don't have to feel it themselves, but they saw me go through it. They see me grind. I want them to be as set as possible financially. I want to be able to help them buy their first homes. You know, I want them just to be happy. I want them to be happy. You know, I watched, you know, one wrong choice could ruin your entire life, you know, and I just want them to make the right choices at the right times, and to know how much that, you know, how loved they are. So if they're thinking about making a wrong choice, just think, because it would destroy my entire life, you know. And I will destroy other people's lives for my kids too. That's not even a question. That's not even a question. You know, I see what happens with these kids. I just want my kids to be good people, to help people, and to be happy. You know, and if I could take any burden off them and help them to do things a little easier, that's what I want to do. You know, but I just want them to find happiness and peace in their lives.
Jesus, if any female listeners want to have babies with me, I want to have fucking kids now listening to you guys talk about them. That is my offer. Follow me on Instagram. I wanted to go back to, I kind of briefly mentioned this before, toxic people. And your advice to, I think we've all been in relationships with negative people, with people who are maybe subconsciously bringing us down because they're nervous about who they are, or even at gyms, at jiu-jitsu gyms, where there's just fucking drama and negativity and not that family communal vibe. And then you'll hear a lot of people make excuses for keeping those toxic people in their life. They feel a responsibility to them. Even if it's just someone, man, I've had girlfriends who even just little things where every time I have a big idea, they go, yeah, but is that going to work? And they're well-intentioned. But it's just enough to kind of bring you to be like, maybe it won't work. What do you say about that? How important is the people you surround yourself with? And if you don't have successful people around you, even the people you follow on Instagram, you know, if I watch you on Instagram compared to some comedian who's just like, everything sucks, I'm going to be a lot more motivated.
You know, I find a lot of inspiration through my own self. I don't rely on anybody. If people are negative, fuck them. You know, I don't care what anyone has to say. I don't look to people for approval. I don't care if they believe in me or not, because I know who I am. You know, I don't need them to think the same. And I understand that people are envious. People are jealous. That's why I don't get too close to anybody. I have a lot of people that know me, but I have very, very few people that I keep in my tight circle. Nothing surprises me, though. You know, like nothing surprises me. But I'll remove them in my life very easily. It's very easy for me to remove. I mean, exceptionally easy for me to remove. There's some people who know me think I'm I don't know. They think there's something interesting in my brain, because I don't have remorse as far as removing people. You can be family. I don't ever need to see you again in my life. You fuck with me, I don't care. You know, if you're not on my team, if you're not rooting for me, if you're not with me, then you're against me, and you don't mean anything to me. I wish you well, but you don't mean anything, you know? And sometimes it's not as easy to do that because you're directly connected for other reasons. Maybe it's business, maybe it's You know, maybe somebody's going through and they have kids with someone, but I'm used to it. I expect people to not want to believe and not want me to be successful. And that doesn't bother me. It drives me to do even more.
That's what I was going to say. It seems like with you, it seems like you can harness that negativity and just use it as kind of fuck you mentality to get ahead.
Yeah, man. Like, I won't give them the satisfaction of breaking. I refuse to give them the satisfaction of them seeing me fail, because there'll be a lot of happy people if that happens, and I don't let everybody know exactly. I express my struggle often, but they don't really know what goes on in this brain, because people will use it against you. You can confide in certain people, and they'll take your insecurities and they'll use it against you, to where I won't give anyone the opportunity to do that.
Well, Jamie, man, I don't know about you, but this is my favorite interview so far. I can't thank you enough, Tom, for doing this. I really appreciate you coming on talking.
Yeah, dude.
You guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for this is definitely like the heaviest questions that I've wanted to ask somebody, but really, man, you guys are going to look at my Instagram like later today, because I'm so fucking hyped, and I'm going to be like, say it to my face, bitch, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking kill you for my fucking daughter, motherfucker. I'll get a daughter. I'll fucking find one. I'll fucking kill you for her. Yeah, man, it's just keep it up. Honestly, I want to get off. We're going to hang up, and I'm going to like tell Drew, be like, all right, how do we make this the biggest fucking podcast of the goddamn world? Like, I'm hyped, man. So thank you again so much for doing this.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And I'm glad we were able to find the time to do it. So keep up the great work, both of you. I think it's awesome what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, see you, bud.
Okay, so I am so stoked after that interview.
Oh
I don't even know what to do with my energy right now. It's sort of shooting in all directions, and like I feel like I can do and produce anything. And you know who I think felt this before me?
Who's that?
The guys over in Origin. I think
Interesting.
Jocko feels this every day. That's why he gets up at like 4:15 every morning, so that he can work out and put a workout post up at 4:30 just to prove it's been done.
Miserable people don't get up at 4:15 because they just want to sleep as much as they can. They want to be in a constant state of death as much as possible. Maybe they can't kill themselves because of commitment, because of family, but they're like, if I can sleep as long as possible, it's pretty much like I'm gifting myself death. But like you said, people like Jocko, people at Origin Maine, they fucking want to get up because they're
workers,
like,
man,
fucking good, because their life is good.
Yeah, they make it good. They're making it good by working every day, by working towards their goals, and by making American-made gis that you cannot get anywhere else except originmaine.com. And we can get you them for 10% off, which is great because you have to work 10% less to get to that goal.
That's not what Jocko wants. Jocko wants you to work more. You're sending mixed messages, Drew. You're saying wake up and work hard, but also work less.
Look, I'm saying you got to work hard to get the 90% it takes.
Yeah, but then use that extra, then still work the extra 10%, but like use that to like give it to someone or lift someone up or whatever.
I'm not good at math, man. Don't make this about math.
That's fine. Hey, you know what? I don't know if Origin takes we've talked about doing like a merch line for Rear Naked Radio or like a rash guard with them. I don't know how much creative input they take, but because all of their jobs are made in America, have they ever thought about, and again, who am I to like pitch logos or pitch like catchphrases or whatever, but have they ever thought about using Make America Great Again for, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's been
I feel like that's
before.
I'm Canadian. I might not have heard it as much up here. I really feel like that's been used before.
I feel like if there's a tagline that a company could use right now that would really bring everybody together in these divided times and certainly not alienate or infuriate anybody, it's Make America Great Again. I think that if Origin...
Okay. What if they change their logo with the colors too? Because I feel like blue's a little overdone. Maybe just red and the white.
That's good. Oh my God. And what about if like, and just like spitballing again, because you don't want to piss people off. What if like another logo, or maybe they could like throw it on a rash guard. It's like build a wall, or
Right, it's like an inside jujitsu joke talking about like half guard shields,
like frames and stuff like that, or lock her up. Right, that could be like a 10th planet kind of lockdown.
Right.
Lock her up. Who's her? Is it your sparring partner?
Well, you know, you gotta be politically correct. It can't always be lock him up.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Like that could be showing like the progressive side, or they could be like, and again, we're trying not to be controversial, blah, blah, blah. It could be abortion is murder and you're going to hell. For her, it's not.
I really feel like that one's been used. Anyways, guys, go to originmain.com. Use Rear Naked at the checkout for 10% off the nicest, awesomest, greatest gear that you haven't owned yet. And
100%.
Thank us after you do.
What else is over at the website too? Because like Drew and I use the Gis and the rash guards because they're just like legitimately the best. But also with all American made jobs, they also have a bunch of other cool
I got
really cool shit over there.
A student here, a training partner who just bought a bunch of supplements through them, used our code by the way. Sweet. And saved his money as well as maybe saved his knees with some of these anti-inflammation supplements. And
fuck yes.
Yeah,
so you can get all that stuff, guys, over at originmain.com. And again, use our promo code. You're not just helping America, but you're also helping Rear Naked Radio and making our sponsors happy so that they can pay the bills so that we can continue to do this podcast.
All right, speaking of making people happy, let's talk about people who aren't happy.
Let's do it.
Okay, so one of the things that I was really excited to talk to Tom about because
you lit up. Like
so excited.
Do you remember, this is not a manly comparison, but I think it was Tyra Banks. Who was that like really tall, gorgeous black model who hosted like Project Runway? She would always talk about for models, they have to like smile with their eyes. And I think she called it like smizing or whatever, where you're not like, you don't have this big facial thing, but like in your eyes, you can tell like it's like the seduction or whatever. I saw that in you. Like you tried to keep a cool face, but dude, your eyes got like it was pure fucking joy when you started to ask Tom about internet trolls and commentary.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand, like, I'm a meme lord. That's one of my titles. And the only thing that keeps a person going as a meme lord is like sardonic responses and like slanted comments, and like there's a little bit of joy that you take in throwing some shit out there into the world.
Okay, so I actually get off on that for a different reason. Because I was never an internet culture guy. I'm still not on fucking Reddit. And I'm just like, hey, why don't we just all talk about like things we like? And everyone's like, boo. I get off on it because there are so many times that I want to say things to people who are just being bad people, but I know it will pull me down into this fucking pit. That when I can watch someone like Tom or Gordon do it,
yeah,
I can like
I can
just get it out, and I can just be like, oh, okay, all right, that's great. And sometimes it's hard, man. I mean, you heard in the interview, sometimes like I see it and I go, I want to start fucking putting motherfuckers on blast, especially people that are like saying things about me that I'm like, that's just untrue. Or like, you're trying to ruin my life and I don't know you. But it's like, how far do you go? And my fear, especially because I have an addictive personality, is that I'm going to get sucked in.
Yeah.
And so
this is the thing, is Tom does it so well in comparison to us. And this is why I wanted to ask, because it's one of the things that I think certain people that are,
right
I
now.
am. Well, there's only certain people in the world that can truly appreciate how well he deals with his shit talkers, because not everybody deals with that. In fact, very few people do. But you got a blue check. Me, I got 100K plus. He's got both, right? Yeah. So we all know, the three of us, how common it is, how annoying it is, how life-sucking it can be.
Yeah.
But he does it so well.
Yeah. I mean, my advice to people, because look, I used to, and I kind of briefly went into this, but I used to do it a lot. And I would do it in a very preachy way. I probably wasn't funny. And You know, I would like retweet someone and blast them out. And I'm much happier now that I don't. What I like about Tom is the times now I want to respond. I don't give a shit if you disagree with me politically or if you try to make fun of me about politics or about comedy. It's not that. It's when people are saying things that like would affect my livelihood that I want to just be like, my brother Nick is so funny, also Jersey, where his big thing is if someone's like a dick to him or whatever, he'll just be like, time and place, man. Like if someone like road rages him, he'll just say, and he's like the sweetest guy. He's like also like vegetarian and like whatever, but he's a fighter. He's a D1 wrestler. His ears are all fucked up. He actually trained with Tom. He's the one, he's the one who introduced me to Tom. And yeah, our big line, time and place. And it's so simple and it's so perfect. But what I will tell people and what I do to stop myself, especially when it's something dumb, is I literally just picture how miserable is this person to be doing this. Because I know when I was doing it, I was miserable. Like I can actually speak to that. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, and then I'll just kind of feel bad for them. And to be like, God, you have an anonymous fucking picture as your like icon and you're just commenting on successful people. Like I want everyone to be successful. I want you to, if you put as much energy into tearing other people down, as cliche as that is, into building yourself up or building other people up, fuck man, you could accomplish the things you're pissed off that other people are accomplishing. Like Tom was talking about with that selfie thing. It was like you mentioned that it was projection. It was the perfect example because it's not like, haha, look at your dumb selfies, you're not as famous as Tom.
Which is exactly what Gordon would say.
Yeah, of course. But it's like you literally got mad at Tom for doing the thing you want to do well, as opposed to like if you reached out to Tom and were like, hey man, like it's really cool you're doing that. Like I've tried to kind of, you know, inspire people online or whatever, but I'm striking out. And Tom would have probably said something really fucking nice to you.
You know what I've just figured out is you're actually better than I am at the trolls because I don't do that stuff at all. When I get somebody,
yeah, how do you react?
Oh, let me tell you, this is I'm gonna get so many shit posters after this. But
great, let's do it.
If there's somebody that's just being a real dick, a real ass in the comment section, the first and only thought that I have is, what is the smartest, most funny, most cutting thing that I can reply?
Yeah.
And something that is short, maybe a sentence long, that's really going to cut, and then I can just leave it and let it fester.
That's good.
But the problem is I want to come back to it like a lot.
That's where it's trouble.
Exactly. So I can't do it because my personality is like, I want to see if he saw it. And I want to see if other people liked it.
And that is where they kind of win.
Yes.
That's one of the things that stopped me as well, is not only like, okay, you have a garbage life, but now you're pulling me into your garbage life, where now I'm checking to see, as opposed to you just mute them.
Ruin your whole day too.
Yeah. And dude, I had a moment when I was living in New York and I was married and I was in like the height of this, like just online misery, where I was fighting with a journalist online, Josh Marshall from Talking Points Memo, and got him to the point where he said, fuck you, freedom fighter. And I screenshotted it because I thought that was hilarious. And his tweets were, he was at like the beach with his kids. And I was fighting with him. So I'm like, wait a second. I'm miserable. Your poor kids are like, papa, papa. And you're like, fuck you, freedom fighter. So I go, I'm done with this. I'm done with fucking fighting on the internet. At the time I lived by Prospect Park in Brooklyn. So I was fighting on my laptop. So I shut the computer down and I go, you know what, man? I'm going to go out in nature. I'm going to listen to fucking music. Something that I never did back then. That's like all I'm doing now. And I don't even remember how it happened. But suddenly I'm walking through Prospect Park and I am fighting with someone different on my fucking phone. That's when I was just like, I have to stop. Because, and I have evidence that the majority of people who are doing this are miserable. You know, Tom's just defending his shit, being funny. I mean, it's almost a business thing with him and like Gordon, where they know they're actually getting good stuff from it. I wasn't getting return from it. And I think the people who are, especially the ones who are commenting on the celebrities' profiles and shitting on people, it's like they're not getting returned from it either.
No.
You're just avoiding your garbage life. My compromise between like what I do now and you, I have to come up with the funniest. I'll post something. If I want to get someone on Twitter, I'll post something that's so stupid. We're like, I'll be like, oh, solid point on Bernie Sanders. Sorry, I missed it. I was fucking your mom. Like something so stupid that it's like, okay, I responded, ha ha ha. But it's so dumb that it's like, I'm also not taking you fucking seriously.
Right. Maybe that's the move.
But Gordon with his like research and shit.
Dude, Gordon goes hard. He's like Tom DeBlass with all the safeties taken off.
That is the fucking one of the funniest things you've ever said. That is no precautions, no bulletproof vest.
There's no empathy in him when it comes to striking back out, man. He will ruin a guy. Speaking of which, I don't know if we haven't said this publicly yet, but we're trying to get not only Gordon Ryan, we're working on getting like a Danaher Death Squad podcast coming.
Gary brought this up.
Yes.
This was Gary's idea. This wasn't even our.
Let's talk about that for a sec, because this is going to be coming soon, I think.
Is it? Are you like behind the scenes making it happen? I don't know when we were.
No, but when we were talking to Gary about this after the podcast we did with him, we kind of chatted a little bit after the recording, and he's the one that brought it up. He suggested, like, if you want to get Danaher, if you want to get Gordon, why don't we just get them all in the room?
He's like, no one's done that before. Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, we're going to do that.
It's going to be fucking chaos.
But the reason why we couldn't do it at the time is because Gordon was off doing his quote-unquote retirement, off with his Tundra out in the wilderness, taking nudie shots with his not sister. I don't know.
When John was like, this is what happens when you go on the road with a girl. You're going to leave everything. I still can't believe people believed that retirement thing.
Oh, dude, let's talk about that in a sec. But just to finish this thought.
Yeah, please.
Gary was saying, we just got to wait for Gordon to get back and we can do it. So now that Gordon is back, I've been actually low-key watching his stories, like where are these being posted from? Oh, he's in Florida. Where's this being posted from? Oh, it's in North Carolina. Where's this getting closer? Now he's in New York.
Going up I-95, baby. Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's fucking do that, man. Let's do that now. That'll be great.
Sweet. What about that retirement though? Like, come on.
It was so, well, can I say something? And I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. So I know Dylan Dennis, and Dylan has been nothing but lovely to me. I've only seen him be a good guy. The way Gordon is going after him and figuring out if him and his girlfriend are broken up, I cannot watch it. It is the most, like, I'm just doing the kind of like,
it's heartless.
Or when Tom was talking about, I went to a site and was like, look like your wife fucking sucked some guy's dick, and that's why you're mad, and that's what happened. I was just like, God, I get, if I'm to the point, I'll definitely do some research. Like, I'll click on someone's profile, and I'll just see them fucking, like, looking all gross. They're usually holding a dead fish or something, and I'm just like, all right, you're pathetic enough. But to do the research to be like, oh, I see you and your girlfriend unfollowed each other. Why? Oh God!
I actually did a little one of those the other day. Not nearly as savage, but there was a guy that posted on one of my reverse Kimura posts showing. I had like some live footage because people were like, it works in demo, it doesn't work live. So I posted some live footage, and of course it was with one of my white belts, which is a majority of my students, right? And so he's like, anything works on a white belt. I'm like. So I go over to his page.
That, by the way, was so fucking stupid that I thought he was joking and making fun of people who say anything will work on a white belt, or like that would work in the street.
No, he was serious. And I went over to his profile, and he's a purple belt for starts. So 2 belts below, bitch. Like, deal with it.
Yep.
But like 2 videos back in his profile is him doing a standing Darce choke. I'm like, talk about shit that only works on white belts. Like, this is not even jiu-jitsu at this point. Projecting.
And I get, that's what I was going to say. It is, and I implore our audience, and I said this last week about how excited I am about our audience and about how we don't seem to be attracting those people. We seem to be attracting really kind people who just love jiu-jitsu and who want to become better. I mean, look, the interview today, he mentioned jiu-jitsu once. I got excited when he was like passing guard. I was like, all right, you're a fucking jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
But we want this podcast to make you better as people, you know? My friend reached out to me. I won't say his name, but I trained with him at 10th Planet, Tucson. And big fucking dude, you know, partier, younger guy, drinker. No, I am to say his name because it's hilarious. His name is Thor. And he's the best. He's so fucking funny online. He's so funny. And
okay, wait, can you imagine being a parent and having a baby, because they all come out about the same size, and putting the onus of Thor on them?
That's a lot of pressure.
Gamble. That's a gamble, because it could turn out to be a little wiener when he grows up.
Because if homeboy ends up 5'2", commenting on reverse Kimura clips,
but Thor, this one worked out, so kudos to his parents.
Well, what I did was I named 3 of the young men that I've been trafficking Thor, because I figure one out of 3 of that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
see, I can do a little bit of math.
You get math. And 2 callbacks, baby. And so, you know, he wrote me, and I guess, I don't know if you heard on my podcast, on Jamie Kilstein podcast, or this one, when I was talking about, you know, when I lost Talib, my little cat, I just was like, how can I get better in every way? As a human, as a person with my career, what are all the things I can do now? And that I want to do. And, you know, maybe that sounds stupid because it was a cat, it wasn't a person, but like I also went through a breakup, and like it was a lot of change. Mm-hmm. And when you have a bunch of horrible shit happen to you, you can fester in it, or you can change, and you can be like, what can I get out of this? How can I become better? How can I help people more? You know, like I've gone fucking vegetarian again, just because I was like, fuck, right, animals mean so much to me. So like that's one of the things, right? But anyway, so he wrote me, and he might have to put his fucking dog down. And he was like, hey, dude, I listened to the podcast, and I heard you talk about being better. And that's one of the things that is pushing me through. And he's obviously heartbroken about this. And so I talked to him a little bit on Instagram about like, all right, well, let's figure it out. Like, what do you want to do? What are the things that you haven't been doing? Whether it's, you know, and we talked about eating shitty, and we talked about training more and stuff like that. And that's what I want. Those are the people I want to talk to on Instagram. That's what I want to do with this podcast, where it's like, yeah, I love jiu-jitsu too. But what I really love is the shit Tom was talking about, where I'm like, I want you guys listening to this show and just being fucking better people. And I want our community to help each other get through really hard times, right? And dude, the second Talib died, you and fucking B-Mac from 10th Planet, Alabama, both texted me and you go, are you training? Are you going to get into the gym? And I wasn't. Yeah. You know, and like that's what I want. I want all of us to be able to do that for each other, you know?
Yeah, so guys, if this stuff is really helping you, let us know. Like, send us those messages, because it encourages us to keep it going. But also, if it brings up something in you that you want to talk to us about, send the message in, man. We're here.
And we'll talk about it on the show. We'll read it on the show. Tell us if you don't want to, but we didn't do questions this week just because I think because Drew and I were so inspired by this interview that we wanted to kind of talk about our shit. But this is a community we're building. We got to come up with like a little, send in what you guys want. We need little names. You know how like Jamie Kilstein podcast, it's like I call them, they're misfits. They're the misfits, and Chris D'Elia, they're the babies. Like, what's our little? I posted something today where I'm like, I talked about like our army, and like when I said that, I got all like, ooh, like so. I want to come up with like a fucking cool one for our people, especially since we're gonna make merch.
Well, I think that a group of monkeys is called a troop.
Now,
we can scratch that off the list.
No. Monkeys is not problematic at all, and that'll be we'll call them our troop of monkeys.
We're simian at some level, aren't we?
The other thing I wanted to say, I don't know the date. I don't know if you do, but Drew and I are doing our first seminar together.
February 22nd.
February 22nd, Decatur, Alabama. You know, when I said I visualized Drew and I under the bright lights, I was talking about sleeping at a gym in Alabama.
They're pretty bright. I've been there.
They're some would say blinding, and it'll be very hard to sleep.
Yeah, they got to keep them on overnight. It's a weird thing they have there.
We should I was going to talk about this off the air. We should chip in and get a hotel so we don't feel like pieces of shit, right?
Or do you I kind of want to do the band life thing.
You want? I fucking all right. I was half and half where I wanted to feel you out on that, but that's gonna be really cool. We're also gonna do a live podcast from the seminar. So not only will I'm sure Drew will be teaching reverse Kimura, which by the way I'm not gonna help you with that at all. I'm gonna jump in with someone because I want to learn that from you. I'm gonna be teaching a bunch of my Marcelo Garcia guillotine stuff, Nate, you fuck, boo, and then we're going to do a live podcast with Eli Knight, who's one of the biggest jiu-jitsu YouTubers, and with
in
BMAC.
The world. That's right.
So we're going to do it live on the fucking mats, figure out how to record it with you guys as like an audience. We'll have 2 guests, and we'll videotape it. We'll put it up on the YouTube and stuff like that. But if you are coming to our seminar, you can come learn from us. Then you can get on the mats, see a live podcast so you're getting 4 pretty fucking decent names, which is awesome. And it's just going to be a blast. We're so excited about it. We're going to plot with BMAC and Eli. We'll probably be putting out a bunch of joint content. I pitched some new comedy video ideas to Eli that he really wants to record. So that'll all be happening at the end of February. And then I'm at the Stress Factory in New Jersey. Jersey at the end of the month, the week after that as well. And then I'll also be Stress Factory, Connecticut, at the end last week of March, House of Comedy, Phoenix, last week of April. And then
when are you coming to Calgary?
Yeah, so Calgary's in like July. I'll be at the Comic Strip in Calgary. I'll get you the exact dates because let's do a seminar live show out there too.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Easy. Done. So, and then do you want to promote the tournament?
No, it's a local tournament. It's actually blowing up right now on its own. But
all right, cocky.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Well, since you're blowing up on your own, everybody please go follow me on Instagram at the Jamie Kilstein. You can follow me on Twitter at Jamie Kilstein. And if you want to hear a political show that doesn't make you want to blow your brains out, you can also listen to the Jamie Kilstein podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, or go to jamiekilsteinpodcast.com for all those links.
All right. Peace out, you monkeys.
Bye.